Hello everybody, I'm Shadow Drain, and in today's video, we are going to be looking at my edit setup and how I edit videos for gaming. So with that all being said, let's get right into it. So we are going to be covering the following. We are going to be covering my setup, what my setup looks like, and why I have it set up the way I do. We are going to be talking about file management and how that is one of the most important things that you can be doing before the edit even begins. I'm going to show you all the stuff where my assets are, and then we're going to be talking about the general sequence settings, how to use your rushes folder, and then obviously set your sequence resolution, and then how to set up your bins as well. We're also going to be covering stuff along the lines of music, scrubbing, ins, outs, transitions for video and audio, the subscriber icons like this one, and of course the actual export itself. And inside the edit, we are going to be covering multicam, subtitles, and so much more, like thumbnails and just general cuts. So yeah, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button below, and if this video gets to 50 likes, I will make this kind of video again, and it will be done within the week. So with that all being said, let's get right into my setup. So we're quickly just going to have a little look around and see what's going on with my whole setup. I'm just going to change my camera around a bit. So we've got the keyboard there. I've got my little stream deck there, which is really handy. We've got screen 1, we've got screen 2, and we've got screen 3. We've got the cup of the glorious tea. We've got the charger, and we've got the mouse, of course, as well. And there's my eyes as well. Very handy, very handy. So, yeah, with the camera not beeping aside, let's just basically talk about what everything's for. So, as you can see here, I've got the project. Here, I have got the actual files, so I can just drag and drop them in. Now, don't worry, I will be doing that all off one screen to just make it easier there for you. There's OBS, because I just literally recorded the intro and haven't turned it off yet, lol. And there's the other screen as well. That's just more of an entertainment screen, so if I want to procrastinate, that's pretty much how I'm doing it. The buttons that are going to be important are as follows. So, your favorite ones are going to be I and O. This is in and out. Now, what that's going to do is every time you're in a clip like this, it's going to be in. Don't worry, this whole video is not going to be recorded from my phone. So we have in, and then something can happen. And then if I want it to be all the way until over there somewhere, I then press the O button, and then that'll mark it in or out. And then from there, I can just drag that footage into the project as necessary. But of course, we've got that. We have got the J, K, and L. These are amongst some of my favorites. So if you press L once, it'll play. If you press it backwards, it'll obviously go backwards. But if you hold K and then press either L or J, it will then go one frame backwards at a time. Really handy if you're trying to do something in a pinch. So these are the main ones that you want to remember. There are some more handy ones there that you want to use as well, like C, and then obviously Control C, Control V, Control Windows key, and then double click's going to help later on for multicam. And then when you're doing the multicam, the 1, 2, 3 on this side is what you're going to be wanting to use as well. Don't use it on this side, doesn't work. Tried it. And then we've got V, which is very handy too. So V and C, which are very handy. Yeah, let's go into the video and we'll start talking about how I organize my files. So now that we've had a little look outside of the computer, let's have a little look at what we've got on inside. And the most important thing that you can do is file management. This is going to save you so much time during the edit. You'll thank me later for it. So as you can see here, I've got all the footage that needs to be edited here. That's what the AE means. And we're going to be using the prison escape episode today. Now you'll notice that I have got the win in there for it, which is fantastic. So what I'm going to do is now, usually you'll notice that I put in a few different types of company footage to go with it, like a couple of games beforehand. So I've got 2 already to go in. So I'm just going to take them, cut, and pop them straight into this folder. And that way I've got the 3 videos for today's video. You'll also notice that I usually have an intro at the start of a video, so I've got a full little palette of them here. Now the majority of these I have used, however I've got a couple of new ones, so Apex JJH has sent me in some, so I'm going to use that one, and then we're just going to pop that into the same folder, and there we know we have the intro. So there's only one more thing that we need from this, and this is going to be all of our assets, but we're not going to move them into this folder because we don't need to, because we've already got an assets folder, which is, it is over here. So we have an assets folder here, which has got loads of thumbnails in, which FYI I no longer need. So whenever I've brought in something to use for a thumbnail, or if I've ever used something in the video itself, like transitions and the subscriber graphics, this is where you'll find them all. You'll see that I've also got my Twitch overlays there for my OBS, and then I've got my music and a few advanced editing libraries here as well. I'm not going to be using all of this today, but I will be using a fair bit of it, so we'll be able to see some of that as well. But we'll integrate this into the next section of the video. Now that you've finally got your files organized, we're going to open up the project. So we're going to click on New Project. We're going to give it a name. We're going to call this one Prison Escape. And then we're going to put this in a folder. So notice that we're going to put this in the exact same folder as what we made earlier. So there it is, select folder, and all that's the same. Now my renderer is going to be my GPU, just because I can. And we have all these other options here, which I just keep the same. Scratch disks, currently the same as the project. So I do have SSDs that I can't edit off. But given the size of the project I'm working at the minute, I don't need to, so it works perfectly fine on the hard drive that I'm already on, whereas these are all automatically set as same as project. If I wanted these to be on an SSD, I'd have put this full project, i.e. the Prison Escape project, onto an SSD, and all these would be on an SSD for super quick scrubbing, but like I say, that's not necessary this time round. We'll go back, and that'll open up the project, hopefully. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous there because it was taking its time, but it's just because I'm obviously recording at the same time, which I don't usually do when editing. So, yeah, the first thing that you're going to do is just grab all your footage and bring it in. Now, of course, I've already got my footage pretty much all up and ready. So I'm going to bring in my music. I'm going to bring in, we'll let that, there it is. We'll bring in my subs. This is a lot slower when I'm recording at the same time. I'm going to bring in my watermark. I'm going to bring in one of my transitions. I'm going to bring in my intro. And then I'm going to go into my transitions. And then I'm going to click on the 1080p. You'll know that my videos are usually in 2K. They'll get released in 1080p while the video is still processing the 2K version. But we're going to bring this one in because there isn't a 2K preset here. So I'm just going to drag that in and we'll edit that later on. Click on this because this is going to bring in a bunch of different sequences that we use for the transitions, and that's absolutely fine. So that usually takes a moment, and it always does this. That's fine. It'll do that without it recording. And while it's doing that, let's go find our actual footage. So here's our footage. Just going to drag that in. Obviously, we're not going to bring in the sequence that we've just made. So we'll just let that all ingest as we go there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another bin. So new bin, I'm going to name this one assets. Probably should have done this beforehand, but it's fine. And then I am just going to drag all the actual assets into that. So I'm just going to click on this, and then we're going to go down to here and just drag them into there. And the rest is footage, so I'm just going to name that footage as well. So I'm going to put everything bar the intro in there. So we got this one, and this one. Oh. I'm going to drag that into footage. So straight off, we've got 2 folders there with everything in it. Now, I am going to start off the project with just a clip from one of the other videos. It's not going to be an important clip, doesn't matter which bit I use, so I'm going to use the I and the O like I showed you earlier. And I'm just going to drag that in there. Now what this is doing, it's setting the sequence settings to 2K because this footage is in 2K, and that's pretty much how I'm going to be starting off this part of the process. But now that that's in there, I can delete that and start moving on with the beginning of the edit. Hardest part of any edit is the beginning, so what I'm quickly going to do is the first clip that I'm going to be using is a shot from inside the gulag. So I'm just going to play this one out. I'm going to play this using the L button to double the speed. It's time.
I hit him as well.
I haven't actually done that yet. But now I'll hit it here. So we're getting straight into the game here. And we'll res through.
Team wipe.
So Hexy's done bits there and eliminated the team using a shotgun. That's my trick. Now your first clip will be a bit bigger. That's fine. You're just going to press the minus key on your keyboard and it's going to zoom it all out there. So that's where project 1 will be starting for me. The next bit I'm going to do is just go back one by using this button here. I'm going to go back a few and then get the intro together. So the intro, where is it, brother? I'm going to put the intro in. So right here I've got selected the part of the intro that I want. Now it does have swearing in it, so I am going to cut that out. So I'm just going to drop that in there. Now what you're going to notice that this is the full profile, it's only filling a part of it. This is because that Joe's footage is in 1080p and that doesn't match the sequence settings. So I'm just going to grab that and then drag it out to be the footage that I need. It's only a small clip, so we can get away with doing it like this. Obviously, it's not going to look great to begin with. However, if someone's viewing it at 1080p, they're not going to be able to tell the difference. So there is that. Now, there is swearing in this particular segment, so I'm going to show you how I deal with that. But first of all, a good habit to get into is by making your sound scenes quite big. This way you can just literally see this line, drag it down and make it a bit quieter because the original clip was really loud. And then I'm going to zoom into it and find the bit where he swears. He must be swearing at the start.
You think you can take me on, motherfucker?
Right, so there we have it. He says the MF word. So as you won't have the mother bit in, but we don't want the other bit in, so I'm just going to click on this icon here, which is going to separate these two tracks, meaning they're no longer linked. So when I cut a bit of this, it will not cut a bit of the video. So I am just going to press the C key, or alternatively click on the razor tool, and that's going to basically give me the cut function.
Fucker.
And now that the word's complete, I'm just going to click that there, and then just delete that segment. So now we've got...
Take me on, motherfucker.
And I'm happy with the audio level at where it's at. So that's all good. We're just going to listen out to make sure there's no other swearing in it, because YouTube will punish you for that. I am in and out of the habit of doing this. Yep, so I'm happy that that has no more swearing in it. And then we're just going to turn the link back on. And it's going to, yeah. So now all these are back. Well, these two are linked again. This one isn't, but I'll just be sure not to move that. But that's all good. So that is the intro sorted out. We just need some music over the top of it now. So I'm going to go into my folder. We're going to go on to something that'll be a little bit different. Let's have a little look. What's this one? About 30 seconds, was it? That's 9. About 30 seconds. Drag that into here. Just make it about the right length. And then we're just going to knock this down. So in older videos I knocked it down to -21, but I've had a few people say that the music's still a touch too loud, so now I'm experimenting with the -30 area. So we'll just have a little listen back.
Oh my god. I just murdered
So knock that up a touch. Tie 24.
three
May
of
have
them.
died, but I found that hilarious.
I have 7 kills.
What? How do you have 7 kills? What did you do?
So for an intro, that's fine. For an actual gameplay footage of the rest of the video, that would be too loud. But we are going to rock with that. And then I'm going to put in... Oh, saving project. That happens. I've got it set to do that automatically. So next, we're going to go back into the assets folder. We're going to grab this little intro. And then I usually cut it off about there. Then we're going to drag that in. Now, you will notice that this is bigger than the actual preview. That's because I had Warfriend Robbo actually export this into 4K. So if I ever did move up to 4K, I could do more with it. So I'm just going to hit that up to 25% view mode and then just make it smaller. And now it's the correct size. So, happy days. That is the intro done. Usually there's like a part where I'm talking over it. That bit I will do right now. So I've currently got Audition open right now, and I am going to record the intro live with you here. So basically I'm just going to get out basically what's going on in the video, and what I tend to do at this point is just remind myself what is actually in the video, so I can see there that we have got a prison escape win, third party kills, and so on. But I know that I'm doing the MP5 PKM combo video first, because this is the clip that's in here now, so I'll start with that one, and then I'll also introduce the intro a little bit. So I'm just going to do that right now, and then pop that in. I'll name it Prison Escape Intro. Sample rate, that's very high. My microphone only goes up to 4800, so that's fine. And let's go amigo. Hello everyone, it's Shadows Rain here, and that was Apex JJH absolutely whipping some people with the shotgun, having 7 kills before he gets into the gulag in round 1. That is absolutely mental. But today, we are going to be showing you some amazing gameplay of the MP5 and the PKM working together. That's a really fun video. MP5 is still really strong, so I thought I'd go a little bit meta today. Not much though, don't worry. Next we've got a 9-kill third-party game where we're basically wrapping up. See, I don't like that bit, so we're cocked up when I said 9. A 9-kill third. Next we've got 9. Yep, so we can just cut from there, and I'll go from that again. After that, we've got a game where it's just third-party galore in Boneyard, constantly getting kills from third parties. I do start a couple of fights myself, but the majority of them are third parties, and that's how a lot of people are playing the game lately, so see how that's being played from our perspective. And then the next one is a prison escape, where we land in prison, Rue hits some absolutely ridiculous shots, we end up in stadium, and do we win the game from there when we're pinned on the middle floor? People above, people below, kill streaks everywhere. What happens? We've got multicam, and you'll find out in that one. But if you do enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, you'll be joining the part of the A1A, and likes are always appreciated here. But with that being said, hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the intro of the next one. Peace. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to cut out this little segment because there's a bit of a pause. There's actually a fair bit of a pause just because I started recording again. Just make sure the levels are alright. Shadows Rain here, and that was Apex JJH absolutely whipping some people with the shotgun, having 7 kills before he... Yep, so I'm happy with that. So I am just going to save that now. That's the last time I did a recorded intro. I've been doing a lot of the video ones lately in OBS. So I'm just going to put that where it needs to be. There we are, happy days. And then you see that that is here, PA intro. So I can just pretty much drop that into here. I'm only going to be using this once, so it doesn't matter where it is. And there's that there. So we're just going to out that there. And then I'm going to drag that into this section. So that's the part of the clip that I want. So this is the highlighted clip that I want. So that's where I wanted it to start. That's where I wanted it to end. Now I'm just going to extend that out. So the good stuff started happening about there. And then I'll just extend it out to be there. So that's the intro sorted out. And that is the beginning of the first game. What I'll also do is here, if you look real close, is I'm just going to cut this bit section out. I'm going to press Control Z. Because I didn't mean to do that, because these are still linked. So I'm just going to cut this section of the video out, because that's where this now needs to go. And I'm just going to put a little audio fade in there, which by right clicking and then clicking default transition for the audio, I'll do the same for this bit here, and I'll do the same for this bit here, and then hello everyone, it's Shadows Rain here, and that was Apex JJH absolutely whipping some people with the shotgun, having 7 kills before he gets into the gulag in round 1. Yep, so that's all working, all fine and good. The next bit I'm going to do is put a little bit of music onto that one. So I do have a favourite that I like to use. Is it this one? Yep, that is the one, and that's about a minute. Doesn't really matter how long I get the clip in, as long as it's not like off the screen. So I'm going to drop that there. Going to pop that to here, and then I'm just going to drop this down to about minus 30, minus 33, and we'll just double check that that's alright. That is absolutely mental. But today we are going to be showing you some amazing gameplay of the MP5 and the PKM working together. Yep, so we have that. That's all well and good, and then we're going to just get another little segment of music there, and that's going to be the start of the gameplay. So the next one that we're going to use, should we try Moving Strong? I've not used this one in a while. There we are. So we'll just use that one. We'll just drag that straight in there. So what I tend to do once I've got it in, I'm just going to take a snippet off, just a tiny bit. I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to do the fade transition. That means that when you do the fade transition, you can actually do the actual crossfade properly, as opposed to just fading in and out. I'm going to drop that to 33 as well, and just see how it sounds with the rest of the gameplay.
Hello.
Oh, mate, you doing alright?
I'm top with that.
Oh, Come on. Come on, pick up your shit. So obviously I swore there. Come on, pick up your shit. So I'm just going to cut. Shit. Simple as that. Then press the V to go back into the arrow mode. I'm just going to go back into it. And then V again to go back in arrow. And then that's that sorted. Because you got the music there, it's not going to be as noticeable now. Obviously it still is a little bit, but not loads. And then the same for Joe's little bit here.
Oh, mother.
So that is the beginning of your edit. That's pretty much as you need to do. As long as you've got your intro in there, and then you've got obviously your intro sequence, and then you've got what you call like the official start of the video. So that would be where this music crosses over, and then the actual gameplay audio starts to go. That's when we're actually in game now. So now all I need to do is just go onto the actual footage, and now it was this one, and we'll start taking it from there. We'll start it in and out bits that we like. So for example, if we did start over here where I've just picked up 2 kills, obviously I'm going to go through the rest of the video and make sure there's nothing funny that's happening. But if it was to be here, I'm just going to go from just where it says up here, this changes to 2. That's when I've got a good point of reference. So in, oh, I pressed out there. So I for in, and then just see if it was around there, out. Come on! I killed him. And then I would just drag that in there. Now obviously that's not going to be as simple as that right now. So I am just going to make sure, have a little look through it, and just see if there's any other segments that I want to put in there. Just by starting from where I was, and just pressing the
No, I can see him.
to scroll through it at double speed. I have a computer where I can do it twice as fast though as that, so like 4 times. So you see there, I already know there's a segment that I've missed, so yeah, that bit will be starting to go in the video, and that'll be when the video starts from. So let's just get a load of clips, go through the footage, pop it in there, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end of the segment. You'll see that during the editing process here, when you're doing for example, your first game that you want to feature, you'll start to run out of music. This is easily adjusted. If you want all the settings to be carried over, just click on it, press and hold the Alt button, click and drag it along, let go of the mouse first, let go of Alt, and you've got an exact copy of what you've just done. This is very handy for subtitles, which we'll show you later on. As you can see, we've marked a clip here. That'll be for subtitles later on in the video. But for now, we're just going to grab this, drag it onto here. I'm going to make this music just a touch shorter, and then we're going to just drag this on. I'm going to do a fade, just like we did before, with the right click on the bridge, and then apply default transition. And then I'm just going to listen to it to make sure it's where I'm happy at. So a little gap there, as you can tell. So I'm just going to go into it and just zoom it down to there, bring it back in, apply the default transition again, and see if that's any better. Okay, so I'm going to try and make that a bit bigger. Okay, still not quite happy with it yet, so I'm just going to make that a touch shorter, and then that beat seems to be causing me an issue as well. That sounds alright, I'm happy with that. Bear in mind there's going to be gunfire and music going on top of that. Now the good thing is, you don't need to make that transition again if you have a super long bit and you're using the same clip, say if it's like going to be 3 or 4 audio tracks, because all you do is you grab the 2 that you're happy with there, and you're just going to drag them along, and then you've got more music to play with there, and that'll be edited the same way regarding that way. Just need to make sure that this bit's in line, and once this bit is in line with the exit of the next one, you're going to be absolutely laughing, because that's your whole music mix. It's done. But yes, that was that little segment there. Now, of course, your music's very important there. You want to have a little bit in if you can. I use royalty-free music, which is obviously the best choice, legally speaking. And that's just how I do things. And that is pretty much that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to draw attention to something, or make it bigger within the same part of text. So I'm just going to make sure that we've got this deselect it here so that we're not copying both the audio and the video. This is for the video. So I've got a little clip here that we're going to use.
Oh no.
So you hear that our friend Esteban said, "Oh no." So in the dev chat there, I'm just going to... So I'm going to press hold K and then tap the letter J just a couple times just to go a few frames back and to find the correct area. There it is. So I'm going to zoom right in. I'm then going to just cut that bit.
Oh no.
I took care of it.
And then I'm going to click on that again. And then I'm going to Alt and drag another one up directly above it. And it's going to be the exact same clip. So what am I doing here, Craig? So I will show you. What we're going to do is we're going to make this bigger so it draws the viewer's eye to it. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is that I'm just going to go into the editing library. So the effects, I'm going to go in video effects, and where is it? Transform, and then we're going to put the crop option on there. So I'm going to click, drag that onto there. I'm going to double click this, which brings it up into the preview. Click on effects, and then I'm going to click on the crop option, and then you just change out this, see that all these are now squares. Now, it doesn't look like I'm changing anything, but that's because the original clip's underneath. If I do block the original clip, you'll notice that we are actually just changing that top file. And the reason it needs to be the top file is because this is whatever's on the top here is pretty much going to be the order of what's on top in the video. So something up here is going to be on top in the entire video. So if it was below it, then you wouldn't see this when we're finished editing it. So this is just the segment that we want. So I'm going to go to the edge feather as well, just make it a little bit better. Yeah, we'll stick with that for now. Then we're going to click on the position, scale, and then we're just going to make it bigger. Now I'm just going to basically make sure so you can see it, so I can actually see what I'm doing. It is a bit easier as well if you make this just a touch smaller. Oh, so you can actually see what you're doing. So I'm just going to make this very big, just to emphasize what's going on. There we are. And then I'm just going to fade in either side. Nothing too complicated. And then we're going to go back to fit, and we'll see how that looks.
Oh no.
Okay, so the fade there, just need to delete that.
Oh no.
I took care of it.
There we go, take off the fade effects there, don't need them.
Oh no.
I took care of it.
There you are, and that's how you do that simple little technique there. Really easy to do, really handy as well if you want to emphasize something going on, be it something in the kill feed for this particular game, or amount of kills, or something going on in the radar. Doesn't matter what game it is, if you want to emphasize it, this is how you would do it while keeping the actual gameplay up at the same time. Just remember, whatever you're emphasizing, make sure it's on the highest layer of the gameplay. Obviously, if you've got watermarks and stuff and the like, that's going to be higher. But for what you're doing there, just make sure it's above the actual original gameplay footage. We are at the area where this is the end of game 1. It's a very short game 1. That's fine. That's quite normal for a Shadow's Reign video because we usually get all the kills at the start. Then we usually have like a funny one or where something's happening in the second game. And obviously the win's usually the third game. So what you're going to do is you're just going to make this just match the size of that. Now you do see the little arrows there at the top of the video clip and the top of the other audio clip. That means that you're putting it in line with those. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go back into my assets folder, and I told you that I had a transition there ready. So here is that transition. I'm just going to zoom all the way in on this one, not that one. And I'm just going to drag that straight in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the middle of that video file there. Now, once we do click on, once we do click on that, you'll notice that it is a little bit smaller. That's fine. That's just the render resolution of the actual transition itself. So same again, just going to make that bigger by double clicking on it and just making it bigger. You'll notice that that affects the scale as well, 1.33, and that's absolutely fine. So what you'll find is now is that that's going to close, and then it'll open on the next video. So we're just going to get a small little clip of the next one. So let's just get ourselves back into footage. We're going to start the 9 third party game, which is fine. And we are going to start it. Let's say we'll start it. We get a nice little kill early on. So that's all good. We will start it right here. Oh, right, I know this kill. I remember this. So basically I'm chasing this kid down. I'll just speed it up. Yep, so I'm happy with that. I fell off there. But yep, that'll be the start of the next game. So I'm just going to pop that there. I'm also going to get a music that I'm going to use for the next part of this. So let's use... Yep, we'll use that. That is fine. So I'm just going to mark that in with the letter I. And then around about the end, I'm just going to do an O for out. Oh, I tapped I there as well at the same time. My bad. And then I'm going to click on this music icon here, drag audio only. It's the only thing I can do at this present point in time. But if you had like a clip with audio and video on it and you just wanted the audio, you do this. If you just wanted the video, you do that. You'll find that I use that one a lot when I'm doing like talk over videos, but that's fine. So we're going to pop that there. We're going to drag this down to about 33, and then we're going to right click default transition. Remember that we do need to make this just a touch shorter for that effect to work properly. So I'm just going to pop that there. Same effect. Apply default transition. And let's see how this looks. So you notice that the audio is just a touch quiet there. So we're just going to knock that one up to 24 we'll try.
Enemy there.
There you go. So that's how we transition from one part of a game to another part of a game, as in game 1 to game 2. If that's how you wanted to do your particular transitions. So this is just a pre-render. I had this rendered on a third-party website. Videos I've used on this particular occasion because my actual editing skills are not that good to create all this. Shout out to Wolf, by the way, for creating the actual A18 logo and thumbnail that we have. And yeah, that's pretty much how we do that section. So from this point on, we have got another Death Chatter clip to show you, but this time we're not going to do the same edit again. All we're going to do is just get the segment we want, and we're going to copy the attributes from the previous one onto this one, and we'll see how that one goes. So we'll just play it through. Come on.
Fan, droppskjuta nå!
There you are. So that's just that little clip there. So we will start from where it was taken from. So again, you're just going to find the exact frame where this red thing comes up on the left side here. So wherever this comes in. So it starts to come in on that frame. So I'm just going to take a cut section from that bit, remembering that the selection is off. So I'm just doing the video.
Fan, droppskjuta nå!
I don't know what he was saying, but if you do know, please let me know in the comments below, as I'm genuinely curious. So I am just going to Alt and drag that up there to get a copy. And we're going to find the previous one that we did, which was right here. So I am going to click on it, right click it, and then I am going to click on copy. Just copy, that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to find that clip, which is here. And then I'm going to right click on this one, and then paste attributes. And then I'll have all the things that I've done, including the crop effect, which I've got. Paste attribute, and now you'll see that it's automatically done the full edit for me. So once you've done it once, you don't need to do it again.
Fan, droppskjuta nå!
Seriously though, 10 points to Gryffindor, to whoever lets me know what he said in that language. And also 5 points if you even let me know what language it is. 15 points up to grabs. Don't know what they're going to do, but I'll keep note of it for something later on in the future. Yeah. So that's how you do that particular part. Let's move on to the next section of the video. So I have done 2 games, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to mark this one in a completely different colour, just to signify that it has been fully edited. So I'm going to do it a horrible mango colour. The reason I'm not doing it to this one yet is because I still have the subtitling to do, which we are going to get onto now. So now we are going to do the subtitling for this part of the video. and you can see that I've got it nice and marked in rows there. Oh, I forgot how to run you fast with an SMG. So here you can see that I've made the error of basically slurring my words and saying my words in the wrong order. So we're going to emphasize that. So I'm going to show you two different ways. We're going to make the first subtitle, and like we did earlier on in the video, we're going to copy those sentences and then put them onto the next subtitle. So this is going to save you so much time. Oh, I forgot. So as you can see there, that's when I've started to talk. And then it'll be what I say. Now it's easier if you do write down the words that you're using. So if you do just create a little sticky note or whatever, you take note of what you're making. So I'll start this here. Forgot how to run you fast with an SM. Forgot how to run you fast. Just type that in there. So that's going to be the first segment of that subtitle. So we have that there. So now we just need to worry about on the subtitle emotion. So we're just going to start here. And then forgot how to run you fast. So we're just going to take this text icon here. We are going to pop it here. And then we're just going to type in the word, which is forgot how run you fast. And then I'm just going to click on the plus icon, on the arrow icon there, and just move it to where I want it. So next we're going to double click on this, and then we're going to go into effects controls, and you'll notice that there's a little one that says text here. Click on this arrow, bring it down, and make it whatever color and stuff you want. So I usually go for a color that will stand out. I usually like to go for a deep dark midnight blue. And then I'm also going to put a stroke on here as well, and then just make that a little bit thicker with this one down in the corner here. This just makes it pop a bit more. It's a little bit better. You can put like a background and a shadow on it as well. I think the background looks a bit cheap, but the shadow, if you do it well enough, it can look pretty decent. But I personally don't use a lot of it that much. Just based on, again, it's just a simple little thing that we're doing here. However, where we are going to change this up though, it's just give it a little bit of a pop, a little bit of an intro. So instead of it just popping up like this, oh, I forgot how to run you fast with it. Forgot how to run you fast. Oh, I forgot how to run you fast with it. Again, we'll just make that a bit bigger there because it's going to make it a bit easier in the future. So just turn the shadow off there. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set a font for it. So I am going to, let's see, what do we have here? That's just the one that looks good. Sui Generis. I like this. I definitely mispronounced it. But I'm just going to put that in the center of the screen. And now I'm just going to add a few little effects to it. So I'm going to take it to the very start, to the very first frame. And you can see that that first frame is here. You can drag it there. And then I am going to have it with what you would do. A little bit of, yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to knock the opacity of it down, sorry, even. So it's going to be a fade in. So it's going to start at 0. Forgot how. And then by the time it's at forgot how, it is going to be all the way up. And what you can see that's done is it hasn't done it actually. We are going to put the keyframes in. With the opacity, what you're going to do is you're going to click on this little icon here at the beginning of the frame. That's going to set a keyframe, and I'm going to turn this all the way down. And then literally just a few frames into it, I am going to have it turned all the way up. Now you see there's a keyframe there, and we're just going to quickly see how that looks. Forgot how. Excellent. And then we're just going to change the, we're just going to click on this and this. So for the scale there, I have to set it to 62, and then by the time that it's fully faded in, I want this to be at 100% scale. So when I change that, it'll automatically add the keyframe in there. There you are. Forgot how to run you fast with it. Forgot how to run you fast. And I'm going to make that, move that keyframe just a little bit because I wanted to be done with the animation a bit earlier. Forgot how to run, just like that. Forgot how to run fast. Forgot how to run you fast. The next one is with an SMG. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to Alt and drag to the end of the next one. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Just going to have a little pop out there. Drag that back in so it just quickly fades out. You're faster with it. Oh, I forgot how to run your faster with it. So now we're just going to change these words. And this one, just turn the position and one off because we don't need that. I'm going to move that into center. It's nice because the drop tab icon is actually in center, so it does work. And then we're just going to make that smaller again. Oh, I forgot how to run your faster with an SM. G. Yeah, so G I can see on the audio is there. So I'm going to fade this up to about the same one. Oh, I forgot how to run your faster with an SM. G. Then we're just going to copy and just alt drag that across again. And this one is literally just going to be G. Turn the position off again. Should have just copied the original and then I wouldn't have had this problem. So I keep on pressing V just to get control, but it keeps on typing in. A common mistake I'm making a lot lately. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I forgot how to run your faster with an SM. G. Forgot how to run your faster with an SM. G.
How run you fast?
Shut up. And the next one will be a shut up room. Shut up room. Shut up room. Shut up room. Yep, so that's where that's going to be. So I'm just going to grab that, do the exact same thing, put it over here, and click on the text. And then I'm just going to drag that into center again. So now let's see how the entire segment looks. I forgot how to run your faster with an SM. G.
How run you fast?
Shut up, bro. And there we go. We've got slick subtitles that are animated and very easy to do. And you can use these whenever you want to emphasize something that's funny that's being said, or when someone's just generally quiet. But here it works really well. And that's pretty much that. It's as simple as that. Obviously, you can be a bit more advanced with the stuff that you put in there. But for what it is, it's really straightforward. So now that you've got the subtitles done and this video is pretty much all wrapped up, I am then going to basically change these to a different color. So I'm going to make this a nice, lovely green, but like a dark green. Yay! So yeah, basically all this is going to do, it's going to make it easier to timestamp stuff later on. And yeah, the reason I'm not changing this particular bit, I'll tell you what, I will. And then I'll make that green as well. So I now know that this is the intro. This is game 1 when we actually start game 1, and this is game 2. So yeah, what we're going to move into next is a lovely multicam section. Ho ho ho! This is probably one of my favourite parts of doing it, especially when everyone sends in their footage. Can't wait for that. So yeah, let's break it down, and I'll do it as easy as possible. Remember, you may see other guides which may tell you how to do this slightly differently, but bear in mind that that's usually for actual multi-camera situations. Where there's actual multiple sound sources, which there is on this particular occasion. But what you find is with this is that people have different volumes of how they have their audio. People have their games at different volumes. And what that creates in a gaming video is different levels, which makes the video sound echoey. And we don't want that. So we're going to show you how to counteract that with multicam and video as well. So let's get right into it. So we're going to move on to the multicam section now, and as mentioned before, you're going to need to set a couple of things up for it. So I've got this button set up here, which is toggle multicam view, which is Shift and O by default. But you will not find this icon here by default. You just need to go on here, there, and then drag it in. You will find it. It's like a TV with like other little boxes around the side of it, so don't worry about that. So what we're going to do is you're going to drag your sequences that you want for the multicam into a separate folder. So I've named it multicam sequence. I've already put one in there from my actual footage, so I'm going to put the other two footage in there now. So this is going to be sequence 2, and this is going to be sequence 3, and we're going to right click it, and then we're going to create multi-camera source sequence. So by default it's called endgame. It's going to be based on track channel 2, and then we are going to set it to switch audio, which that basically means it's going to be using the audio from the actual clip that it's on. So if you remember before, I said that it can be all echoey if you combine it all. Switch audio is going to just be the audio of the person who we are watching at the time. So with that being said, we've got all that we can create. It's just going to process them for us now. So now we've got one multicam sequences together. You'll notice that there's 2 instead of 3. Turns out Wolf sent me the wrong footage, so I'll hound him about that later. But for now, we have got the 2. Now you're going to see straight away that Connor's 1080p footage has a slight dilemma, and that it's a different size. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on Control, Windows key, and double click that, and that is going to open up the files. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see here that Connor's stuff is in there with mine, so that's all fine and dandy. So I'm going to double click on his and just bring that up in there, bring the timeline, double click on his, and then we're just going to bring that out a bit, so that's where it starts. So just double check that it's in line. So well played, get back inside in the safety. Yep, so you can see that that's all nicely aligned. What I'm going to do is now I'm just going to drag these clips in. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's when the multicam starts. Otherwise, I can just keep using my own footage. So just for the case of simplicity, I'm going to keep that there. I'm happy with that, I believe. I'm just going to double check and have a look at the other one. So mine looks alright, and his colours are looking alright too. Connor's is looking a touch washed out, so I am just going to do a little bit of colour correction on that regard. Usually with Connor's though, I do have a habit of this one. With Connor's, it's usually just knocking the whites down a bit and it looks a bit more normal. So with that being said, we can just keep on going on with the rest of the tutorial. I'm going to go back onto me editing. Sweet, get rid of the colour. And now, once that's done, I'm happy with all those edits that have been made. I am going to go back. I am then going to click on this sequence now that it's all aligned and create new sequence from clip. Now what's going to happen here is that it's going to play from the very beginning. I'm going to click on this option here, and you see that I've got 2 options now. I've got 2 screens. Once I've clicked on that button, I'm just going to drag this all the way across because we don't need that now, and you'll see why later. So we're going to go through the clip from when it begins, and then we're just going to press the numbers 1 and 2. And that's going to change what camera we have. So you can see that's camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. So just watch through the entire thing. I'm looking at these screens and not making the distraction of looking at that one. I will then go through it afterwards to then see if there's anywhere I need to polish up a shot or whatever. So we'll start from the top. And you'll notice, by the way, that there's only one audio track here. That is normal. That's just purely because we've got the switch audio option enabled.
Not alone.
Got a shotty. So if I press 2, we'll look at Connor.
That's me, neighbor.
We'll press 1, we'll look at me. So Connor's already shot someone, but Connor was shooting someone while I was distracted there. So we're going to go back to that point. Connor's about to bust through the door, so we're going to make sure the camera is on Connor. You see how it flicked to me there, so just make sure that it stays on Connor.
Neighbor.
Well played, get back inside in the safety. So from there, we can tell that we have pretty much what the shots that we need, and it's automatically cut itself based on the needs of the many. So what I'm going to do is now, I am just going to watch through it all and just make sure it's all aligned. If it's not where I want it to be, just by looking at this screen and ignore these ones. If it's not, then I'll just go back to the recording and press the number that I want to be watching. And then once this box is turned red, it's then locked in that view until I change otherwise. But just so you don't have to go through the whole video again, you can just press the space bar again and it will stop that automatically for you. With the multicam now made, I can now turn this mode back off, and then I can bring this back into a normal window, and then I'm going to edit the rest of game 3. So I'll do that by using my footage here, which I've still got. And then I know that around round 5, I need to be thinking about the multicam. And then once I've got the multicam ready to come in, I'll then pop it in and then cut it within the sequence to begin with. So yeah, I'm going to edit all this bits now, see what bits I want to use for this particular game. And then we'll move on to adding the multicam. Okay, so game 3 is edited up until the point that we need to go from. So I am going to open up the multicam sequence, and I am just going to drop this whole thing into here. Unfortunately, you can't just open it up, because if you do double click it, it will just open the full sequence, which is why you've got to go onto this. So we're going to drag that in. We're going to put it somewhere different to the rest of it though. So what we're going to do is just basically go to the point where Connor gets a kill. So Connor gets a team wipe about there. Class, that's all good. So we don't need anything really up until the final fight now. So I'm just going to cut from that point on. I'm going to mark this a different colour, just so I know not to delete it. So we'll make that Caribbean. So when does Connor start killing people? Because I don't actually kill people until the airstrike. So I'm just going to find that now. Pretty sure Connor gets a kill before that. Does he not? Yep, no, there he is. There's the kill. So we'll start on the approach. So about halfway towards me going up to him, just so the clip's got a little bit of a build up. Cool. I'm just going to drag all that, delete all that, and go from there. Notice how it's in the exact same order, so I've not touched anything. I've already double checked all this and I am happy with it. There is plenty going on in that final circle. Now I've already got the end segment, so I'm just going to find a nice place to cut here. So now that's ready, I'm going to make all that the same colour again, but I'm going to make that a far different colour. So I am going to make this a purple. The reason it's purple is so I know not to put transitions in, which is what we're going to get into next. You notice I've not put any music in yet for this stage. I'm just going to quickly zoom in and make sure I get the right angle on this. Cool. So you notice that there's no music in there yet. That's absolutely fine. I'll put music in there in a second. But for now, we are going to do our transitions. So basically, any transition will go into a place where the scene changes and it's not a multicam sequence. So there's one, etc, etc. I believe that was just cutting out swearing, but I accidentally cut the clip instead. So yeah, I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to go into my assets folder, and you'll notice before that I brought in some transitions. Here is the transitions folder. Now, depending on where you get your transitions from, a lot of people will just do a fade cut, and that's absolutely fine. So a fade cut will do this to your footage. See how it just fades in there? However, I don't want to use that particular transition, so I'm going to go to change my resolution. Remember, it was 1080p, and that we're recording in what is basically 2K. Couldn't get your words out there. So these are 1080p. So because these are saved as sequences, which most transitions are, I'm going to change a couple of details about it. Oh. So I'm just going to go into sequence settings here and just change the resolution. Remember, this is just for my transitions. I'm going to do the same for this. If you do get a transitions pack of your own, there will be a demonstration on how to do this in the pack. If not, just come back to this video, and if it does give you options like this, or similar to options like this, where it's project resolution, so assets, project resolution, and you can change them in there. So what that's basically going to do now is when I put the transitions in there, they're going to be full size, which is magnificent. And we're going to double check my other transitions as well. So I'm happy. This is where the video actually works. As we seem to be having a bit lag because I'm now recording. Yeah, the image is not doing its thing, which is a bit strange. I'm a reboot Premiere. Oh, there we are. I'm not going to reboot Premiere, boys and girls, and everything in between. So I'm just double checking that my transitions are working, which by that I mean the full screen. So, and they all work, and I'm happy with all that. So with that, I'm going to proceed to go into my transitions and find the one that I like. So what I usually use is one called Light Leak. slightly short, and I always use the 8th one because it's the shortest and quickest one. Well, it's the best looking in my opinion. So I'm going to go to where the footage begins. Remember, this is the same clip, I just cut the audio. So we start getting clips from that point on. So in the instructions of this, it tells me to turn V1 on the left off, so that way it doesn't include this nice little image, which you see here in the background is a demonstration. That gets rid of that image, which would have been on 1. So that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a fair bit. And then where the transition is in that bundle, so you see where the line is, I'm going to line that up with where the line is on my actual project. And that's that. Now I do usually do this at a bit smaller scale, sorry, a bit larger scale, so another one there. And then this is just another clip of the same thing where yeah, that's just where I'm using a swear word. Next clip is actually there, so that's fine. What I'll do is as well, it'll lock so you can't actually miss it, and it'll lock will line up with the middle bit, so that's absolutely fine. So I'm just basically going to go through all this and put all my transitions in, and we'll get back to you as soon as we've done that. So the video is complete. All I need to do now is just go back into my assets and add my subscriber icons in. If you don't know what they look like this. This is when you see this pop up on the videos. Keep that in that folder. And also we're going to need to do the thumbnail as well. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do the thumbnail first. So we're just going to quickly go up to, where is it? Sequence, add tracks. I just need to add one more video track. And you see that's added another line in there which I can actually use. So we're just going to grab this image. We're going to pop it in at the top there at the very beginning. See that there? I'm going to make that a touch smaller. Just by double clicking on it. Gives me the box to make it smaller. It's going to pop it about there. I'm going to color correct Joe's clip actually a little bit as well now that I'm here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the effects of that clip. I'm going to go into opacity and I'm going to turn that down all the way down to a nice modest 19. Joe's clips are very bright at the minute, so that's why that won't stand out. But while we're here, we'll fix that. So we go into color and we'll click on the actual clip itself. When the graphics, there we are. So what I'm going to do is, much like Connor's, I'm just going to select the clip that I want to edit. And then I'm just going to bring down the whites a bit, because they're always just a touch too bright. And then there you go, that's that. Still a touch bright, but what you'll find is in the rest of the video it will stand out really nicely. And we'll go back to editing. And now I'm going to click on this. Nope. I'm going to click on this and just make it massive. Put it across the whole video. So you'll see in this section of the video, it's still all there. You can still see that there's a little outline box there, so I am just going to make it a touch dimmer on the opacity. So we'll go for 6, and we'll go for a nice 8. 8 should be hard to distinguish, which it is, yeah. So I'm really happy with that. In reality, I would just have a A1A template without a background on there, but this is just what I'm making from the... So next up, we're just going to put in those subs. So we'll use the large one first. I usually trying to put on 2. I keep on forgetting to put them in videos recently, so I'm going to try not to forget. So I'm going to look for a bit where I say like and subscribe. But the majority of them are third parties, and that's how a lot of people are playing the game lately. So see how that's being played from our perspective. And then the next one is a prison escape. Absolutely ridiculous. Win the game from there when we're pinned on the middle floor. People above, people below, kill streaks every time, and you'll find out in that one. But if you do enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget. So that's where that's gonna go. That's gonna go in right there, just to get the subscribe. And if you do, oh, this is new. Oh right, it's because sorry, I confused myself there. Make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. So once you've got that in there, you're just going to make it bigger. You're going to put it where you want, make it the right size you want. And if you do subscribe, you'll be joining that part of the A1A. And yeah, that didn't look right, so I'm just going to pop that there. Likes are always appreciated here. But with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the intro of the next one. Peace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that on a couple of occasions and just put them in key moments of the video. Now you'll notice I went to go alt drag that and it just the video was there. So I'm going to click on this and try again. There you are. So I'm going to put another one in that next video. And then I'll put another one in that next video. And then same again with the like one. So I'm just going to find a random place on this video, see how it looks. Cool. We'll shift that up to here. I do quality check these. I do make sure they're in the right spot. Now it's a bit of a short video to put that one on. So I'll pop it there. Why not? And we'll pop that there. Cool. So what you can see is now is that we have got all of our animations in there. We've got a thumbnail. I know exactly where everything is to timestamp, so I will timestamp that in the description. The only thing that we've got to do left now is basically do a quality check. Make sure you've not missed any swear words. If you have, make sure that the music is covering it up or there's gunfire going on over it, just so the algorithm doesn't pick up on it. And yeah, basically just make sure everything's right, make sure you're happy with it, and then we'll get onto the exporting segment, which we'll do now. So with the exporting, you're going to make sure you save the project first. I've already quality checked the video, so I'm very happy with where it is. If that's not right, then so be it. So we're going to go to export, file, export media. Now I've already created my own little preset here, and that's when I saved it. So I'm going to click on this, and I've already saved it as Shadows Rain, but you do have loads of presets that you can use depending on what you need. So I'm going to click on that. I'm then going to find a name for it, and then we're going to call it Warzone, because that's what I name all the gameplay ones, or if it's a multiplayer one, Warzone. And then we're going to say Stadium Circles are madness. Obviously I'll improvise a bit more of the title when I actually put it in there. So just double check that everything is going to be correct. So that's the correct sentence. I want to render at maximum depth because I love you guys, want to give you the highest quality possible. Just make sure that nothing else is a bit bizarre. Make sure the whole video is getting done, which it is. And then we're going to click on export, and then that will absolutely hammer my recording potential. So once that's exported, we'll get that uploaded, and then we'll start worrying about the thumbnail. So here we're going to make the thumbnail. You can see that I am using a website. I am on Canva. I've got I pay for it. It's like £10 a month or whatever. But it's really useful because I can remove the background without having to actually spend 2 minutes on it in Photoshop. So what we're going to do is, I am liking this template that I have at the moment. We are going to change it up a bit. So I am going to remove my face, remove the gun that I was using. The text is good for the time being. I'm going to go into upload an image. We're going to go into Google Drive, and we're going to find the most recent picture, which I've just taken, which is this one. We're going to drag that in here, and I'm going to wait for that to upload. Now that's uploaded, I am just going to basically put it where I want, with this being, when you take a photograph as well, make sure that you try to keep at least one side of you in full frame and the top of your head in frame. Makes things a lot easier. So I am just going to remove the background of that now. And now what I can do is I can just play around within here and start making my thumbnail, adding different gun icons if I so need to. So what I'll do is I'll get this all edited and put together there for you, and I'll show you the finished result. So now that the thumbnail is ready, I'm relatively happy with that. I am just going to download that, download page 1, and I'm going to put this into the same folder that I keep my actual footage in. So this is going to go in the same one that we've been using the entire time, which is the prison escape circle. Just get rid of that advertisement there. So I am just going to save this where it needs to go. So I am going to put that in here. Where is it gone? Prison escape. There we are. And that's all the files. I know what the thumbnail looks like. It'll be the only image in there. So now what we're going to do on the back of that is basically come into this, hit F11 to come out of full screen mode, and then we're going to quickly get the other browser down here. So all we're going to do now is get that uploaded. So we're going to click on this, select files, and then we're going to go into where it is. So we already know where it is. If you remember, everything's all in one place, which is really handy. So Prison Escape, and then Warzone Stadium, Circles of Madness. I'll rename that as I go through. But yep, click on the thumbnail, pop your thumbnail on there, and the rest is all there for you to do.